Nukaraka.
Ora, e te mana whakawā, huri no te whare, e mihi atu kia koutou katoa. Sir, reluctancy is a word that we have heard all evening around this debate. And what my whakaaro or my thing about this is, sir, is that I'm not reluctant actually. I just think that we have, and without regurgitating a lot of the kōrero or the discussion tonight, is the fact that it is what it is. We have really confirmed the fact that there was no malice intended. There was a genuine mistake that was made. And I think the other part of it, sir, is that, or not think, the important part is that it was a technical issue, and the fact that the second part of it is that there was no monies that were overcharged or whatever. So, sir, I've spoken, and in the chamber tonight, sir, there was at one time here 3 mayors, one from a former mayor, well, all former mayors actually, and one of the things, sir, that we did sort of concern ourselves about all evening in this debate was that we found this one, so are there any others out there that we don't know about? Sir, when this happened, there was a huge flurry across New Zealand, and particularly in the local councils, because everyone then was checking their systems just to ensure that this particular anomaly, this particular issue that they found with the Christchurch City Council wasn't happening on their patch. And sir, so I think that's an important sort of consideration or concern that we should actually possibly put away after this debate or be comfortable with it. The other part, sir, was the fact that when, as a member of the Local Government and Environment Select Committee, it was an interesting situation when the councillors came to submit, and it was the only submission for this particular bill. And when the councillors from the Christchurch City Council did come before the committee, there was a real interest by all of us, because it seemed, sir, that they showed very, very little empathy. It was in some ways sort of a fairly perfunctory manner in which they were actually submitting to our process around this bill. But sir, when you take into account that it had taken place over a 10-year period, and quite a number of years, sir, before the present council. And so I think, sir, particularly because what has gone on in Christchurch, as we know, since the September earthquakes and then the February earthquake, and the immense work, sir, that the load that has actually been on the Christchurch City Councillors. And sir, that's when I saw, as someone that comes from Christchurch, as someone who is a ratepayer, as someone who has experienced the incredible challenges through that earthquake, all those earthquake periods, but to see the City Council working in unison with the Crown, and then, in a lot of parts of it, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So to just have this added sort of situation that happened long before their time is something, sir, that I think reflected the way that they actually presented that day. And so I have a lot of empathy for them because, sir, they realised that, yeah, and they accepted the fact that the mistake had been done. And I actually concur with the Right Honourable Ruth Dyson this evening in the fact that, the Honourable.
Premature.
Not quite yet.
The Honourable Ruth Dyson, in the fact that what she was saying is that if we look at all of this, if we accept it, which I believe we should, and move on, and then acknowledge the fact of the work that we have done in this bill, acknowledge the fact that the Honourable Nikki Wagner has presented this as a local bill, the work that's being done by the Local Government Environment Select Committee, that we will actually get to the point where we have actually shored all of this up and we have legislation that will actually be good legislation, because good legislation only comes about when we have a collective agreement, we have a sort of collective working, so that we bring in good legislation to be able to deal with this situation so that it doesn't happen again. So, sir, on that note, I do again want to say that it is what it is. We've accepted that. Let's move on and let's deal with this, and let's continue on with other important things that we have to deal with. So, sir, on that note, I commend this bill to the House. Kia ora.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Christchurch City Council Rates Validation Bill, second reading.
A point of order, Jami-Lee Ross.
I seek leave for the House to adjourn at the conclusion of members' order of the day number 1 or 10 p.m, whichever is earlier.
Leave has been sought in those terms. Is there any objection to that process? There appears to be none. This bill is set down for committee stage next sitting day. Call on members' order of the day number 1.
Social Security clothing allowances for orphans and